Yes, sure. So you should start, Vivanti, madam.
तो एक बार फिर से हम सब इस सेशन के थ्रू जुड़ चुके हैं। नमस्कार, a very good evening to all. Hope you all are doing well. And I am Prati, and I, along with all BJSF members, welcomes you in this live talk session. तो आगे बढ़ने से पहले मैं आप सभी को BJSF बिंदास जो सोशल फाउंडेशन के बारे में बताना चाहूंगी। BJSF एक गैर लाभकारी संगठन है जो जरूरतमंदों की मदद कर उन्हें खुशहाली देता है। औपचारिक रूप से इसकी स्थापना सन 2018 में हुई थी और इसके संस्थापक है आदरणीय श्री राजीव वर्मा। BJSF mainly works in 3 sectors, that is health, education and environment. Till now, BJSF has conducted various events, be it blood donation camps, plantations, health checkup schemes, charities and much more. So without any further delay, let's welcome our speaker guest for today. So let's welcome Shri Atul B. Khare, IRSE Chief General Manager, Agra, Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India Limited, M. Chudla, DFCCIL, Ministry of Railways. A very warm welcome to you, sir. So let me introduce more of him. Mr. Khare, IRSE 1987 batch, is working as Chief General Manager at Agra, and he is a project leader and steering the project from cradle to death. He is involved in designing, planning, monitoring, implementation, certification, and of Bhorpur Khurja section 353 kilometers, double line electrified civil and system of DFCCIL. He has been associated with various first in technologies in India, example, Operational Control Center at Prayagraj, circular type electric system of running of heavy haul trains, modern signaling systems, high speed turnout, etc. And prior to joining in DFCCI, Mr. Khare has been involved in upgradation of tracks requiring increasing of speeds of Shatabdi Express to 150 kilometers per hour in Agra New Delhi section, insertion of 100 number of subways. So this was all about him. Firstly, I will say thank you so much, sir, for coming here, and we are really pleased to have you here. So firstly, we all would like to know about your journey in railways, like how it all happened that you thought of serving railways. So please.
Thanks, everyone. It's my privilege and it's my opportunity to tell about my project. I am very much happy to share my experiences on the project as well as the working of railways. And once again, I thank for giving me this opportunity because the present project in which I am working is more or less new to the railway system, and not many people know about this. I am basically a railway engineer and an IRSC by you can say by the selection or by the service. Railway has been my fascination right from day one because even my father was serving in railways. So I had to actually since it was my fascination and my life was also revolving around railways. So it was my dream to join the railways, and especially when I joined engineering. So the civil engineering was my fascination right from day one, and I have no two opinions about the civil engineering likings. And secondly, in civil engineering, I always wanted to be a railway engineer. So fortunately, God was kind enough to give me that opportunity, because at that point of time, or even now, the railways, getting railways in UPSC is a difficult job. And fortunately, I could get it thanks to my parents and everyone, so that I can join railways. Railways is a service where, when I compared with other services, maybe even with the civil services or maybe police services, I found that there is a lot of interference by public and by politicians of the country, whereas in railways, there is definitely no interference from the public and no interference from the politicians, especially. And in railways, we have an opportunity to serve any type of service. If you want a teacher, you can be a teacher. If you want to be a scientist, researcher, you can be researcher in railway. If you want an administrator, you can be administrator. If you want a pure executor, because railways IRSC service especially provides all sorts of opportunity and it's a mix in one bag. So it is definitely, I consider still railways as the best service in India. So I was fortunate enough, I joined. That is all about me. And shall I start the presentation?
Yes, sir, please.
So what I will do, I will tell briefly about the dedicated freight corridor, the importance of that in national scenario, and then a brief about my project, and then how I'll be showing some videos or some slides about the construction practices we followed on dedicated freight corridor. So I'm just starting with my presentation. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. So normally, I do not know many of the persons whether they are aware about the dedicated freight corridor, because it's a public sector undertaking under Ministry of Railways, 100% owned by Ministry of Railways. The exclusive job of DFCC, Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India Limited. In the present scenario, the railway system has become very congested, and there is no possibility of increasing the passenger trains on the existing system. And in turn, it's always a public demand to increase as many trains as possible. And there is a restriction on the existing infrastructure. So Ministry of Railways in 2006 thought of creating something exclusively for the freight transport, a separate network of railway system, which will only enable the freight corridors. And definitely it's a state of art, most modern corridors made for goods. There are many advantages which I will be covering in my presentation later on. So first I will just have a background of the freight scenario in India. This is about railway freight traffic. Globally, we are the fourth largest system in world as far as Indian Railways is considered, and the freight in India is at the moment 762 billion ton kilometer. Billion ton kilometers means it's a weight into kilometers. So it comes around, we are fourth in largest after China, USA, and Russia. So India is one of the very important player in the freight transport. This is about the freight traffic as of 2018-19. We carried in Indian Railways around 1225 million ton of traffic. And you see the increase in traffic even in last 18 years because of GDP growth, and because of population, because of industrialization, the freight traffic is increasing substantially on Indian scenario. So projection of food. So in 2022, we are expecting that 1,885 million ton of traffic will be in freight. This is a figure of both railways as well as state, road sectors. And by 2030 or 2032, we are expecting, you can say around the 3,000, this will be around 6,559, means about twice of the traffic will be in 2027, and it will be further 4 times in 32. So this is the scenario which we are projecting on Indian system, that so much freight traffic will be generated. And out of this freight traffic, if we consider the railways versus road, because we have 4 metros and most of the traffic whether it is road or rail, it is transported from the metros to metros. We call this as golden quadrilateral. Whether it is road or railways, mostly these sectors are carrying. In railways, it is around 16% of the total routes, but they are carrying around 52% of the total traffic. So you see the congestion in this route, how much there is traffic in golden quadrilateral. Similarly, the road is again, it carries around 40%, whereas of the road network, it is only 0.5%. So now we come to the railways versus road. You see in 1950-51, the road, you see a share of rail was around 90%, means roads were not developed and railways were carrying around 90% of the traffic. In 1991, it was in a balance, and thereafter rail share is decreasing day by day because of various considerations. One of the consideration is congestion in infrastructure. So by creating dedicated freight corridor, we are expecting this trend to be again reversed. See, if you say globally, India is carrying around 36%, whereas the developed countries, maybe US, it is carrying around 40. So roughly around 50% of the rail total traffic should be carried by railways. Now comes the need of developing the railways freight corridor. So I have said that in 2006, Government of India has decided that let us make dedicated routes for freight corridors. The main constraint was the funding. So funding it was tried that whether we can do it by local resources, maybe internal resources of Government of India. So it was not possible. So finally, we have a lot of delays and lot of discussion took place, and finally 2 corridors were sanctioned. One is known as Eastern Corridor. It is from Ludhiana to Dankuni. Dankuni is very near to Kolkata. This is around 1800 kilometers of the corridor, because most of our coal sector and most of the iron industry, coal industry, lot of transportation of traffic is through this. And another corridor which is joining at Dadri near Delhi. So from Delhi to JNPT. This is basically most of the finished products, then export-import oriented routes. This we call it Western Dedicated Freight Corridor and Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor. Western Freight Corridor, Western Dedicated Freight Corridor is funded by Japanese organization, that is, we call it Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and the Eastern Corridor is funded by World Bank. Both the corridors are costing around 81,000 crores. About 3 years back, now the cost has approximately 1 lakh crores. So while deciding the corridors, what we have thought, because it's a most modern corridor, so we thought of that let us have a breakthrough. So even in the existing Indian railway system, what we carry is the height is 4.26. So we have tried that most of the Western corridor, the commodity carried is by containers. So we thought of to have a double stack container train. And I am happy to inform that we have started running double decker container trains in the Western corridor. In Eastern corridor, because the predominantly traffic is through coal and steel, so the height was kept as 5.1, which is much more than 4.26. Width also we have increased from 3.2. So this is just for a better capacity utilization. Train length in Indian railway system, the train length as of now, a goods train is around 700 meters. But in dedicated freight corridor, which we have designed, is the train length will be 1.5 kilometer, almost double of the existing system. And similarly, the train load will also increase. What is happening in the present railway system, because there is a mixed traffic of passenger as well as goods. So in the existing Indian railway system, the speed of goods traffic is very less. We get around 25 kilometer per hour speed of goods train, and whereas the maximum speed of goods train is around 60 kmph, whereas in dedicated freight corridor we will be running the goods train, and we are running at the 100 kilometer per hour speed. and average speed we are getting is 65 to 70 kilometer per hour average range. Axle load means the load which a train can carry and track can carry. We have increased from 22 to 25. It's the most modern thing in the world. The maximum load carried in the heavy haul system, or maybe the maximum loaded section, is around 30 or so. So we have designed our track structure for 32.5 metric ton, which is the most advanced in world. And track, we of course we have limited to 25 tons, so we will be doing. So I would just in a common man's language, we can say we can load the track to a higher load. We can carry the higher speed. We can maintain the higher average speed. And electric traction also accordingly, we have almost double. The existing system is on 25 kilovolt, if you can understand. So we are now increasing to twice. So then the carrying capacity by the same electric system will be better. Signaling also we have modified to automatic, so that at every 2 kilometers interval we have one train. So you see, imagine the capacity of the new system. Cost, if I say, this is the World Bank has given 1.86 billion US dollar. It was around in 2013, and JICA has given 569. You see, World Bank is also appreciating this project. They have said this is the biggest loan ever financed by the World Bank in world. So World Bank is also very much considered, or rather eager to have this project completed. Just few benefits on the Indian economy and on the transport systems. First is that it will be heavy haul train operation as in line with the world. Our transportation capacity will jump. Connectivity to port terminal will be improved. And what is most important with the dedicated freight corridor, that we run the goods train with timetable. As of now, there is nobody, because the transporter doesn't know when his goods train will reach to the destination and when his product will be delivered at delivery point. So just to overcome that, I will just mention that the dedicated freight corridor is promising that from Delhi to Kolkata, it will be 14 hours delivery, which is equivalent to the Rajdhani train as of now. And from Delhi to Mumbai will be around 12 hours. And we are in the system of that we will be running a train with timetable. So even the perishable item, even the food grade items will be carried by goods train, leave the trucks. Technology, of course, it's the most modern technology which is available worldwide, which we are following. And safety provision is the state of art, most advanced safety provision, so that there are no accident and collisions, etc. Another thing is that we will be saving if the road sector is decongested and the road transport is shifted to railways. Then you see the 457 million ton of carbon dioxide emission will be reducing. This will be a great help to the environment and definitely to the country. In this dedicated freight corridor also, we have planned logistics park, we have planned this industrial park along with this, and the government of India, this is the Delhi Mumbai Industrial Corridor Corporation along Western and Amritsar. So we are also setting up various industrial park logistics hubs along the corridor. Definitely if the goods train are taken out from the existing railway system, then definitely there will be a possibility of about doubling the passenger traffic on the existing system. And very soon it will be a time when, like airlines, you will eliminate waiting list. There will not be any waiting list after commissioning of dedicated freight corridor in the passenger systems. That is one of the major milestones DFCC will be serving. This is again about what DFCC means to the industry. See, this is a volume is very, I mean, we can say even mega project, 20 million cubic meter of stone ballast, so much concrete, so much rails. this DFCC has given a boost to Indian economy, and employment has generated tremendously. Just I'm not mentioning many things because you can just go to see so much telecom. It has given, I can say, almost the GDP contribution to contribution to the country will be around 5% or so because of DFCC. Of course, the cities are so much insulators, aluminium, so many things are being consumed by making dedicated freight corridors. This is the traffic estimate. I will just rush through because after 30 years, what we are projecting that DFCC will be increasing 12,072 million ton of traffic to railway system. Now coming to the further corridors, two corridors, as I've said, western and this eastern, they are under construction. Around 2022, these will be constructed, both the corridors. And we have planned in India, one is the East Coast Corridor, that is from Kharagpur to Vijayawada. This is upcoming. East-West Corridor, this is from somewhere near Maharashtra to this place, and a North-South Corridor, which is Vijayawada to Itarsi. So this will be carrying around majority of the traffic of Indian Railways. Now coming to my project, this is Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor, which is from Ludhiana to Dankuni. And out of this project, around 350 kilometers, that is somewhere near one place is Kanpur. We call it Bhavpur because it is around 13 to 14 kilometers away from Bhavpur. This is Kanpur. And here we have a Khurja station. So Khurja to Kanpur is my project area. I will just elaborate. So in this place, this is Khurja and Bhavpur. This is around 350 kilometers. I am in charge of this project. Out of this 194, this kilometer, this has been completed and trains are running over this from 2nd of October. And this process, this portion, Bhadan to Bhavpur, we are expecting that we will be running first train by 31st of July. And normally by 30th of September, we will be starting regular trains on this. Another portion, this is also under construction. All this red portion, whatever is shown here, is under construction. Coming to the executors in the project, we call it, because this is being governed by the international contract rules, that is called FIDIC. There is a Swedish agency under which we are dealing with our contracts. So we are employer or client, we can say. The contracts, there are two contracts. One is civil contract, another is system. Civil contractor is making all civil engineering related works up to track. And system contractor is constructing all electrical, signaling and operational part of it. We have only two contracts. One is around 3,000, we means in my project, around 3,200 crores, one contract which is given a joint venture of Tata and Eldesa. Tata is the normal Tata projects of India. Eldesa is a Spanish company. And here this is Alstom India, which is a consortium, various Alstom unit. Main headquarters in France. Total length is 351 kilometers. And in this system, what we are doing, because to monitor this size of a project, we have appointed an engineer. Because in normal railways parlance or in normal contractor systems, the employer himself acts as engineer. But here in the international contracting system, what we do, both the parties appoint an engineer who is a neutral agency who gives decision on various technical aspects, and he is treating both the contractor and the employer at par. So this we call, this is again a joint venture company of science. This is TIPSA is an Italian company, and Sistra or Sai Consulting is a Spanish company, sorry, France. So there is a joint consortium. It's an international thing, because what happens in the World Bank, whenever World Bank finances any project, they say it cannot be limited to India specific. It has to be a global tender. It has to be a global technology. So accordingly, we have called all global tenders. So global partners are available. It is an help to India so that we can get the latest technology. Just a magnitude of this is 268 lakhs cubic meter of earthwork. Blanket, we call it, is the top layer of the earth, which is improved to, which is provided to improve the loading capacity of earth. Ballast, we call it stone, what we see on the track, which are stone pieces, we call it. As this size is too much, if anybody can appreciate, this is tremendous. We are making 29 rail, 29 major bridges. Major bridges means there are rail flyover, there are under bridges, and apart from this, around 100 of road over bridges also we are constructing. Again, a magnitude, I think you may not be interested because what is important in this, we are eliminating all level crossing in the road. Around 95 level crossings between Kanpur to Khurja will be eliminated in the process. So everybody either can go by underpass or by road over bridges. This is a added advantage by constructing the bridges. Now, again, I have said that all level crossing will eliminate. This is a long flashwood welded panels. What we do in traditional railway system, we are using 13-meter long rails and then we are welding into it. But because of the dedicated freight corridor, we have asked the rail manufacturer to produce 260-meter long rails. 260-meter long rails means it will not have any joints. So the rail fractures or rail failures, what we notice, will be eliminated and it will be a most safe track. Again, these are some technology we are doing using Haidarden rail. We are using this is, and if somebody is interested, I can share the details. So I'll not go in this. Railway, this overhead electric system is carried over the electric poles and mast, which is founded on a foundation. So in railway system, normally we have a traditional foundation, a rectangular foundation, whereas in a dedicated, because of dedicated freight corridor, we have adopted a circular foundation and it's a completely mechanized. So we can do around 100 foundations a day, something like that. And similarly, we have also used concrete train. A train is used on which all the concreting equipments are housed and it moves over track and do concreting. So there are many mechanizations which have been followed in dedicated freight corridor just to increase the speed of execution. I'll not go through this. I'll just say these are, say this is one of the things. I will show a film of it, how this machine is working. This is a mechanized track laying train. It lays 1.5 kilometers of track in a day, which is normally done by around 300 to 400 persons in a day. So that was the speed of execution, because constructing 350 kilometers in 3 years by any standard is very mammoth task, and if we follow the traditional system, that will take around 10 years to complete 350 kilometers. So definitely we need most modern technology. This is a turnout, we call it, you might have seen on the normal railway system by which train changes the track. So this is the most modern turnout. Normally what happens whenever we train is approaching a station, our train speed reduces because of changing the track. So there the speed is 15 kilometer per hour or 30 kilometer per hour. So we lose a lot of time. This type of switch, we call it, or the turnout, it is designed for 50 kilometer per hour. So the train at 50 kilometer per hour can change track from one track to another. This is the welding technology. This is again once most modern technology of the world, by which there will not be any breakage in rail during service. This is, I was talking about the circular foundation. We have converted one track, and by means of this instrument, we call it auger. There is a circular hole dig in the railway's formation, and this hole is utilized for erecting this railway pole by a machine. This is here I was talking about a concrete train. Basically, it is a concrete mixer plant housed over the train. This is a wiring train which we have utilized to lay the wiring over Indian railway system. This is a friction buffer stop. I'll not go into detail, but it's again a technology by which a train, if it overshoots, it can be utilized for stopping. This is mechanical handling of sleeper and mechanical handling of rails, which we have followed. Because what happens if we utilize for handling 260-meter long rail, we definitely need a mechanized arrangement, so that otherwise we cannot lift the 260-meter long rail by manual means. A snapshot of welding, some machine we are utilizing. This is track completed. This is clear. I'll not go. I'll now come. I will come to. So you see, this is how we are digging foundation of overhead electric wire. This is how we are handling the electric mast, which is utilized for erection. That earlier machine did the whole concreting train, did concreting, and this is a grappler which is utilized for this. This is the machine utilized for wiring of an electric system. By this, we can lay the wire of around 4 kilometers in a day. You see, there are two spools over which the electric wires are housed, and the machine moves in one direction, and this is done automatically. These are some snapshot of girders being erected. I'll just come this way. These are from my side. This is the building which we have constructed at Allahabad. This is operational control center. I will come into details later on. This is inside of the theater where we control the movement of trains, and it is largest, second largest in world. Again, handling of rails. This is a traction TSS, traction substation of a dedicated freight corridor system. This is one bridge we have constructed. This is same bridge, another shot. This is OCC. This is our station building at near Tundla. So now I will come if you are interested. If somebody is interested to ask anything, otherwise I will show the
Sir, I need to
videos
announce.
of construction.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
So I need to announce that the meeting will end in about 2-3 minutes. So kindly rejoin as soon as it ends.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
is there anyone with any questions? You can ask. Sir, you may continue. So please unmute yourself.
Okay, just I am showing my some videos again. This is I have to share this now. Is this film visible now?
Yes, sir.
This is a machine which I have shown a photograph. It is utilized to lay the track over prepared formation. And in this machine, we are practically using around 20 to 25 personnel. And they are laying the track to precision at the rate of 1.5 kilometer a day.